Hello guys and welcome back. I hope all of you are doing well this week. So in this week's video I'm going to be scaping the very last tank of the gallery. So let's take a look at this tank. This tank is around about 11 litres, so that's a little bit above 2.5 gallons. It's an incurved tank just at the front and it's 30 centimetres wide. Like all the tanks of the Nano gallery, there will not be any fish in this tank. It will exclusively be shrimp because it is on the small side to keep any kind of fish. So for the substrate, for the base, I'm going to be using Aquasoil from Tropica. This just ensures to really get some nice healthy plant growth. Gonna add a little bit more for luck. So the idea for this scape is to create something quite different. So I'm going to be using dragon wood today, and I'm going to be placing it in a kind of X shape. So it's going to be quite an aggressive kind of looking scape. What I'm trying to do here is create kind of a dome in the middle because I really want to give it some height smack bang in the middle of the tank. So that's going to give height, and it's also going to give an illusion of depth. Okay, so here's my little assortment of dragonwood. So you can see that I've really selected some very pointy pieces. So it's really going to add to that very aggressive kind of scaping look. Okay, no judging. I'm going to sit down because I actually threw my back out this week. So if I look kind of robotic, you know why. Okay, so I'm just going to try out a bunch of placements until I find something that I like. So this can be, for me, quite a long process because I like to try out a few different type of placement styles until I really find something that I like. I'm going to start off with a few pieces of lava rock. This is just to be able to prop the wood against it, and also to be able to glue the wood to something heavier, because otherwise it's just going to float straight up to the surface as soon as I fill the tank. Over this past year, I've slowly changed my scaping style. Initially, I started with extremely heavy planted tanks, which I really liked. But yeah, this year I've just started to really concentrate more on learning on Hardscape, whether it's placement, whether it's proportions, and I feel like it's really made a difference in my scaping journey. So yeah, I'm just going to continue trying to go really Hardscape heavy in all my new scapes. And this is also something that I highly appreciate in the hobby. You can make so many different things. You can explore it in so many different ways as well. So it's just something that I really enjoy. It's just learning new things. So yeah, just the importance of coming out of your comfort zone sometimes and trying new things. Even if sometimes it's not really my style, I still like to try. I'm quite happy with the placement right now. I feel like I need to build a little more height in certain areas. So I'm going to start gluing the pieces of wood together so then they don't move, and then I can start building a little bit more on the height. To be gluing everything together, again, I'm going to be using this. So this is a compound, it's a fiber compound. It's extremely reactive and it's extremely durable over time. If you don't have this, you can just use normal tissue paper and then just some regular liquid super glue. So in this phase, I really like to take my time. This is almost the most important phase, because if not every piece is glued down correctly, as soon as the tank is filled, it's just going to float straight to the surface, and that's an absolute disaster when you've literally just planted a whole tank. And believe me when I say this, because I have learnt the hard way. So yeah, it may seem like a lot of gluing, but in reality, it's really not. It's also important to glue everything down because In the months to come, if I do keep this tank for quite a while, I'm obviously going to do a lot of maintenance on it. And if when you do maintenance, your hardscape is moving around, if it's falling over, if you can't actually brush the wood sometimes to give it a little clean without it falling apart, it's not going to be very durable in time. So now that the structure is nice and glued down, that it's solid, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go over the parts that I've glued with super glue and just sprinkle some crushed up aqua soil on top of it. So that's what that is actually going to do. It's going to hide these ugly pieces that I've glued down. So if you're using tissue paper, sometimes it can be bulky, and if you want to hide it, this is a top tip. Just crush some aqua soil, and then you can brush it with a paintbrush. So you can use anything. It can be sand, it can be gravel, if it's small enough.
So that actually took me quite a while to glue everything down. I've also hidden all the glue spots so it looks nice and clean. So I'm going to start planting. I'm going to be planting with only one plant. So this is Eliocharis. It's commonly called hairgrass. So it's a carpeting plant. And it works pretty well in my setups. You can see I have some in the Iwagumi Scape here, and it's one of my favorites.
So this is a little tip if you're planting hairgrass like this or any other kind of Eliocharis. When you open the pot up, you can actually just open it just from one side and pull it into a strip. So that's just going to be a lot easier to make these little portions. The smaller the portions are, the easier it is to plant, and also you're really going to be able to spread it evenly in your planting plan.
Okay, I think it's going to start to rain. The luminosity isn't the best, so I'm just going to put the aquarium straight on to the stand with the lights, and then I'm going to be able to see the planting a little bit better. I don't know if the camera is picking it up, but it's already looking so nice, like in the contrast with the moss tank next to it. I think it's going to look amazing. So just before planting, I'm going to fill up the tank a little bit. It's just going to make planting a lot easier. So obviously I'm not hitting it with a 10-litre bucket. I'm going to fill it up very, very slowly. I don't want to be disrupting the aqua soil or anything like that. So I'm just going to take my time. Not in a rush anyway.
When I'm planting carpeting plants, whether it's hairgrass, whether it's multicolor, whether it's any kind of carpeting plant, I really make sure to position them a little bit higher up on the tweezers. So then I really have a good amount of control when I'm planting, and also to be able to plant them a lot deeper into the substrate, because the last thing you want is when you're doing your regular maintenance, especially the first month, is for the plants to float up to the surface. So Eliocharis, Monte Carlo, all these kind of carpeting plants, they can take a while to really establish their roots. It's the first thing that's going to grow. So if you've planted this recently and it's not growing for you, it's because it's still developing its roots first. As soon as the roots are developed, it's really going to start to spread. So yeah, you just really have to arm yourself with patience, especially with carpeting plants. And obviously, if you, just like me, you have a low-tech setup and you're not blasting CO2, it's going to take a little while for everything to fill in. But that doesn't mean if you don't have CO2 that you can't grow carpeting plants. Every single tank of the gallery is running without CO2. and has full carpets. So yeah, it can be done without CO2, it just needs patience. So preferably I would have needed 2 pots for the tank to be nice and densely planted. Unfortunately, at the shop, they had run out, so this is just me spreading one whole pot for the Scape, but it's not too bad. I think it will be fine anyway.
Okay, so now that the tank is completely planted, I'm just going to slowly fill it back up, fit the filter, and then I will show you the final results.
So again, I'm filling up really slowly so then it doesn't disrupt the aqua soil and the plants and avoid everything coming back up to the surface. Okay, so it's not looking too bad. Obviously, because I will not be using CO2 on this tank, it's going to take about maybe a month and a half to 2 months-ish for the hair grass to completely carpet the whole tank. So it's going to, need a little bit of patience. But no worries, as usual, there will be updates on this tank to see how it's doing and how it's progressed. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next Monday for a new video.